Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhavatasya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So continuing with the discussion on introduction of Adi Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So yesterday we discussed how Krishnadas Goswami, he offered obeisances to all the deities, especially Madan Mohan, Govind Dev Ji and Gopinath Ji. So Madan Mohan Ji we covered yesterday. And then he said, when this is established, then Prabhupada says, when this is established in the 16th verse, Krishnadas offers his obeisances to the functional deity Govinda. The Govinda deity is called the functional deity because he shows us how to serve Radha and Krishna. So Govinda deity is the Abhideya or devotional service deity. It shows us how to do the devotion. The Madan Mohan deity simply establishes that I am your eternal servant. With Govinda, however, there is actual acceptance of service. Govinda resides eternally in Vrindavan. In the spiritual world of Vrindavan, the buildings are made of touchstone. The cows are known as Surabhi cows, givers of abundant milk, and the trees are known as wish-fulfilling trees, for they yield whatever one desires. In Vrindavan, Krishna herds the Surabhi cows and is worshipped by hundreds and thousands of gopis, cowherd girls, who are all goddesses of fortune. When Krishna descends to the material world, the same Vrindavan descends with him, just as an entourage accompanies an important person. Because when Krishna comes, his land also comes. Vrindavan is considered to exist beyond the material world. Therefore, devotees take shelter of the Vrindavan in India, for it is considered to be a replica of the original Vrindavan. Although one may complain that no kalpavrikshas, wish-fulfilling trees exist there, when the 6 Goswamis were there, kalpavrikshas were present. It's not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. One must first become a devotee. The Goswamis would live under a tree for one night only, and the tree would satisfy all their desires. For the common man, this may all seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotion service, all this can be realized. So it's because we haven't made progress, we don't see all those kalpavrikshas and the touchstones. We don't see real Vrindavan. But the process is to when we purify ourselves by devotion service, we can see. Vrindavan is actually experienced as it is by persons who have stopped trying to derive pleasure from material enjoyment. Vrindavan is actually experienced as it is by persons who have stopped trying to derive pleasure from material enjoyment. When will my mind become cleansed of all hankering for material enjoyment so that I will be able to see Vrindavan? One great devotee asks. This is one of the bhajans actually. The more Krishna conscious we become and the more we advance, the more everything is revealed as spiritual. Thus Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami considered the Vrindavan in India to be as good as the Vrindavan in the spiritual sky. And in the 16th verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he describes Radharani and Krishna as seated beneath a wish-fulfilling tree in Vrindavan on a throne decorated with valuable jewels. There Krishna's dear gopi friends serve Radha and Krishna by singing, dancing, offering betel nuts and refreshments, and decorating their lordships with flowers. Even today in India, people decorate swinging thrones and recreate this scene during the month of July and August. Generally, at that time, people go to Vrindavan to offer their respects to the deities there. So that is the Shravan Mass. Finally, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his blessings to his readers in the name of Gopinath deity, who is Krishna as master and the proprietor of the gopis. When Krishna played upon his flute, all the gopis or cowherd girls were attracted by the sound and left their household duties. And when they came to see him, he danced with them. These activities are all described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These gopis were childhood friends of Krishna, and many were married. For in India, the girls are generally married by the age of 12. We're just telling this to Shashwati Mataji. The boys, however, are not married before 18. So Krishna, who was 15 or 16 at that time, was not married. Nonetheless, he called these girls from their homes and invited them to dance with him. That dance is called the Ras Leela dance, and it's the most elevated of all the Vrindavan pastimes. Krishna is therefore called Gopinath because he is the beloved master of the gopis. So these are, Prabhupada just gave the purport or kind of translation, but the beautiful verses which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote for Madan Mohanji, Govind Devji, and Gopinathji. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami petitions the blessings of Lord Gopinath. May that Gopinath, the master of the gopis, Krishna, bless you. May you become blessed by Gopinath. The author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita prays that just as Krishna attracted the gopis by the sweet sound of his flute, he will also attract the reader's mind by that transcendental vibration. Actually, we want to be attracted by the sound of flute of Krishna rather than the sound of this material world, Maya. But for that, we have to be purified. We want to be purified. So, devotional service, that's the only way possible. So there ends the introduction. So we have time, we can start the first chapter. So first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, entitled The Spiritual Masters. So first thing Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami does is pay obeisances to the spiritual masters. It's not said spiritual master, they're masters, many masters are there. Text 1. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktam Isham Ishavatarkam Tatprakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So he is offering obeisances unto all, because without the mercy, this is what devotees always feel, although might be very, very advanced, very exalted, but they always feel that without the mercy of everybody, I cannot make progress. And that is true also. And that also makes us more and more humble. That without the mercy of everybody, spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord, Lord's incarnation, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, I cannot make progress without them. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudodaya Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamo Nudhu. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So on the horizon of Gauda Desh. So it's called Gauda Desh because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there. And so sun and moon, they appear on the horizon of the ocean, on the level of surface of the ocean. But here, they have appeared on the horizon of Bangladesh. To do what? To dissipate the darkness of ignorance. So whenever sun and moon come up, darkness is gone. And thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon them. Yadadvaitam brahmopanishadi tadapi yasya tanubha yatmantarayami purushaiti soshyamsha vibhava shadaishwarya purno yaiha bhagavan saswayam na chaitanyat krishna jagati paratattvam param iha. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. That's why he is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. No other truth means nobody in the spiritual world is better or greater than, or better or equal to him. And he is full with 6 opulences. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the 6 opulences in a different way, completely different way than Krishna did. But he's still full with 6 opulences. And then the reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Anarpita charim chirata karunyavatirana kalo samarpayitum unnat ujjvala rasam subhakti shriyam hari purata sundara diti kadamba sandipita sada hriday kandare spuratu vakshachi nandana. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Shrimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving this blessing of mercy upon all of us. He's saying, may he be situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Innermost chambers. I mean, not the organ heart we are talking. Why? So that he doesn't come out. He cannot leave that place. And innermost chambers, yeah, or like if we have a safe box in our house or bank, so there could be many chambers. The innermost chamber, we keep the most precious jewels in that chamber that we don't want to lose, that we don't want anybody to see. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving us his mercy. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. So here's Duty. Duty was of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. Anarpita, right? That's the word. Anarpita charima chirat. The most, and what he did, what he gave us, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Unnat Ujjvala Rasam, it is said that. The conjugal love, nobody gave that before. Nobody. And it's not a cheap thing, not a cheap, in a cheap way we should take it. So the topmost rasa in the spiritual world is a conjugal love. And Mahaprabhu appeared to give us all. See, that's why Mahaprabhu's appearance and his pastimes, very, very difficult to understand. But as Rupa Goswami said, he's the most munificent incarnation. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pratayat. So most munificent means he doesn't look at our ineligibility, no qualification, but he still gives us the topmost rasa of the spiritual. This is his mercy, which nobody had given before. And just like when Krishna comes once, only once in a day of Brahma, 7th Manus, end of 28th Dwapar Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in Kali Yuga, following that Dwapar Yuga. He also comes once in a day of Brahmaji. So 43 billion years is a day, one day, and so long as it's night. So many billions and billions of years later, he's going to appear again. And he just appeared about 500 years ago. And he personally is not here, he has unmanifested his pastimes, but this Sankirtan Yagya movement is his pastime. It's because his dear devotees have started it, and it's been carried out all over the world. So in an unmanifest way, but still under his jurisdiction, under his guidance, this Sankirtan movement is spreading. So we are pretty much in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who comes once in a day of Brahma, and who has come to give the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, a mellow of conjugal love. So how fortunate are we? How fortunate. And more fortunate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if somebody doesn't chant 64 rounds every day, is fallen. And Chaitanya Srila Prabhupada made it. Okay, just chant 64 rounds, minimum 64 rounds. It's okay. This is our fortune, actually. So we are in this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement. We've been given this chance. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can achieve Krishna Prema. Not just ordinary Krishna Prema, not in only Shantaras, Udasyaras, all the way to conjugal ras, Ujjval ras, Madhurya Ujjval ras. We can achieve that. I mean, we can achieve not something artificial, but if it is our Swarupa, then it can come forth by chanting, by engaging in devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna himself comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, who came in this Kali Yuga. But other Kali Yugas also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and that is mentioned somewhere, that it is Gaur Narayan, that Vishnu comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Lord Vishnu comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he gives only Vaikuntha Prem, not Golok Prem. So other Kali Yugas we can get Vaikuntha Prem. But Golok Prem, only by mercy Mahaprabhu, and it's available only in this Kali Yuga. And that too in the 10,000 years that Mahaprabhu has blessed, out of which 500 years have already gone. So we are in a very, very actually fortunate position that we have appeared in Kali Yuga in a human form, and we have been given an opportunity to be part of this Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he is freely giving this conjugal love, conjugal mellow. How fortunate. We would be most unfortunate if we don't make the best use of this opportunity. If we still just waste our time in other things, we would be the most unfortunate. Text 5. Radha Krishna Pranay Vikritir Hladani Shakti Rasma Ekat Manav Api Bhuvipura Deha Bhedam Gatoto Chaitanyakhyam Prakatam Adhuna Tadvayam Chakyam Apatam Radha Bhavadyati Suvaditam Naomi Krishna Swarup. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Shri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So he had separated himself. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separate themselves, but for the pastimes. But now, as the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they have united and appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Now, the reason for why he appeared. Shri Radhaya Pranay Mahima Kidrisho Vanyeva Swadhya Yenadbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadiya Sokhyam Chasya Mad Anubhavata Kidrisham Vetti Dobhat Tad Bhavadhya Samagye Sachi Garbha Sindho Arinda. So Krishna Kaviraj Goswami says, so three reasons he appeared. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love. One, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love. Second, and the third is the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Shrimati Shachidevi as a moon appeared from the ocean. Three reasons. So other than somebody asked, how come Krishna doesn't know? He is omniscient. He knows everything. But here the reason given. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. See, when we say Krishna is omniscient, yes, he knows everything. But can we, there's some things that he doesn't know. For example, does Krishna know when I'm going to go back to the spiritual world? So this is a trick question. If he knows, then everything is fixed. So I don't have to do devotion service. I'll just go back whenever, maybe 1 million years from now, I'll go. So for this million years, do I have to do devotion service or it is fixed? I'll go. So because this is my independence, if I don't want to go, he's not going to make me go. But if I follow a certain path, if I don't misuse my independence, then okay, I can go. But here, when it comes to Radharani's love, glory of Radharani's love, wonderful qualities in him and the sweetness she realizes, he doesn't know the full thing because she and him, they're one. So the depth of her love for him And actually, this pastime in Dwarka when Krishna was there. So once he was just in his palace, and his palace, we studied in Bhagavatam, the columns of his palace were made of wonderful jewels, expensive jewels. And once he was just passing by and he saw his own image in one of the jewels of the columns of the palace. And he, also because Krishna's Yog Maya works on him, so he has to really enjoy everything. So he was back, he saw his own image and he saw, who is this beautiful person, most charming person? And he said, oh, it's me only. But he wanted to taste or understand his beauty or his qualities through the eyes, through the heart of Srimati Radharani. What she sees and what pleasure she receives. That's what he said, I want. Because she is a topmost devotee, topmost lover of Krishna. So her feelings are definitely different, very, very different. So this is what he wanted. So that's why, one of the reasons he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but there are other pastimes also with Radharani that he had to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyway, I guess we'll start there. See anybody has any questions or comments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, a question from the Ras Leela, Krishna Ras Leela. If we look at the exact age when he went and killed Kansa, he was 11-year-old, I believe, somewhere 11 plus. And is it correct? Ras Leela we are talking about beforehand, like before 11 years. So possibly he was 10, 9 in that age. And during that age, uh, uh, anyone is a kid, right? Because 12, 13 years, 14 years, it's like a bacha. It's not an adult until the age of 16. So when he was doing that Ras Leela with gopis, it was a kind of play act with gopis. So, I mean, this is very unfortunate that people who do not read, who do not talk about, who do not understand Ras Leela, they create joke about it, right? The Ras Leela, how come so many wives Krishna has? And in Ras Leela, he was with several gopis. But this act was when he was a kid, and it was a playful act. It's like he was playing with other kids, with other friends, girlfriends, not the boyfriends, maybe. So, can you elaborate on this, Prabhuji? Is that my thought process here is correct, or because this was also a spiritual act?
Well, one thing is you can again read those chapters in Bhagavatam or Krishna book. Yes, age-wise, he was about 7, 8, 9 years old. But again, this Ras Leela is not once in lifetime of Krishna pastime. It happens every Purnima, actually. So, yes, in Bhagavatam, what is mentioned, yes, he was there before he went to Mathura. But it happens every Purnima. And as Prabhupada mentioned, the girls, they get married in village very early age, and they were the wives of other gopas. That's also true. But Ras Leela is the topmost spiritual pastime. And when we see it in material world through our perverted consciousness, it's our perversion. Nothing wrong with Ras Leela. It seems as the lowest, most degraded pastime. So what is topmost? If you see a reflection in a mirror, it appears the lowest here because of it is a degraded consciousness. We see it through. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. First, people have to understand that. Shukdev Goswami spent 9 cantos to make sure everybody comes on the same, is on the same page when he comes to Krishna's pastime. When then he started with Krishna's pastimes with the Bal Lila to establish Krishna's position as a supreme personality of Godhead. And everything belongs to him. Everybody is his energy. We are Prakriti, his energy. Spiritual energy is also his energy. He is a controller, proprietor, enjoyer of everything. So actually Prabhupada answered this in this way that, so he is enjoying his own energy. What's wrong with that? When somebody asked, and Prabhupada asked him, how many wives do you have? And he got shocked and he said, one. Prabhupada said, you are stealing Krishna's energy from him and using that energy in your service. You are a thief, not Krishna. So please read those chapters again, what Prabhupada has written. And then we don't have to defend ourselves. Why I have to defend Krishna? I say it boldly, yes, he enjoys Ras Leela with gopis and Srimati Radha. But these are his pastimes, they're all his energy. All the gopis were there for his pleasure. Krishna was also reciprocating with them because he wanted to please his devotees. If we are going to put mundane sex pleasure in there, because this is our misunderstanding, not Krishna's pastime. There's anything wrong with that. Otherwise, why would Shukdev Goswami, who's a self-realized soul, is describing these pastimes? Narad Muni is there, Ved Vyasi is there, all the rishis from all over the universe were there. Why would it take time to even describe it if there was something wrong? He wouldn't bother to mention that. So why we have to say, oh, Krishna was only 7 years old? Why? So we get our facts cleared out. First, we have to be convinced that there was nothing wrong in Krishna's pastimes, even in that Ras Leela pastime. First, we have to be convinced. Then we can convince others. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's okay. But like again, that word comes fallen soul, उतनी बुद्धि नहीं है कि उस लेवल तक समझ सके अभी, because अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं, we are just listening and कोशिश कर रहे हैं चैंट करने का.
पढ़ो फिर से पढ़ो, वही पैसेज फिर से पढ़ो, प्रभुपाद जी ने क्या लिखा. कृष्ण बुक में
एक क्वेश्चन और आता है, थोड़ा सा ऑफेंसिव है, if you don't mind.
हाँ.
So एक क्वेश्चन मेरा और है, थोड़ा सा उसमें ना entangled हो जाता हूँ. I don't know if I can ask you one to one, that will be great. Or this is about that Krishna Lila book, Ras Leela wala chapter, which Prabhupada already said. He restricted that somebody who do not have heightened level of spiritual consciousness should not go ahead and read that. मतलब अगर if we go back and see the entire scripture, जहाँ जैसा जो भी चीजें हैं लिखा है, कहीं पे God has not shown anywhere, right, any adultery form, कि मतलब कुछ ऐसा act represented on the form of scriptures where people say can बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं idiots who do not read and just straight away they say कि ऐसा लिखा है तुम्हारे book में, and it's written there. How can you tell me, confuse me on this? Adultery form of act. It's given on the book, right? And uh, now, if we say that friends do that, और then कैसे प्रभु जी समझाया जाए अगर इस तरह का डिबेट क्वेश्चंस होते हैं तो somebody asked that because
तो
that book is
उसको
read by many people.
उसको पहले बोलो that even in our college days, any subject matter, we won't just go to 30th chapter in the book right away. Start from first chapter. Yes, written, great, wonderful. Thing is written, but start from first chapter, then you will understand. Even he said, no, you explain it to me. I cannot explain to you. You haven't read the first chapter. How can I explain the 30th chapter?
So then the question comes, you are giving an excuse. This is Kali Yuga, right? So they say, you don't know anything. You're asking me to go ahead and read all those
I
stories,
know.
all 13
I've been
chapters.
preaching for some time now. Yes, I know kind of questions people ask. But you stick to this. No? You start from first chapter, then you will understand. Otherwise, you will misunderstand. Like you're doing it right now. Just tell me.
और प्रभु जी एक और चीज it's just coming kind of putting me on an anxiety to ask this. uh, Sudama's visiting to Dwarka, right? It's a Rajmahal and king was Krishna. तो द्वारपाल तो रहती है ना प्रभु जी gates पे. So how come he was not stopped there? Because that's usually also sing on different bhajans, kirtans, that who are you, what are you coming here for? Straight away कैसे अंदर चले जाते हैं, ये भी है कृष्ण लीला में कि he goes inside straight away and visit Krishna. जबकि वो दौड़े दौड़े आते हैं, ये भी लोग जानते हैं भाव जो है कि कृष्ण आते हैं उनको रोकते हैं.
See,
And then
उस time भी बात हुई थी. Maybe other Puran describe in more detail. Bhagavatam only tells this much. Not everything can be described completely. Shukdev Goswami had limited time.
okay प्रभु.
So he just mentioned only this one. Maybe other Puranas have more story. I don't know.
Sure प्रभु. Thanks a lot प्रभु जी.
Okay, bro. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.